Hello everybody, welcome to Big Frank's Kitchen. I'm Big Frank, and today we're going to be making my weekday Pomodoro sauce. It's a sauce that I commonly like to use throughout the week, especially when I'm too busy to cook. I can keep plenty of it in stock in my refrigerator, take one out, and make a complete pasta meal in less than 10 minutes. It's very quick and easy and convenient, and it has many uses. It's very flexible. So today we're going to be making that, and I'll show you how. Let's go. To start off our weekday Pomodoro sauce, we'll have to cut up our bacon. We have to make sure to cut it into tiny bits and pieces. This will make it easier to fry up. I find it easier to do it this way because if you were to fry it up as whole strips, it would take much longer. Cutting it up into tiny bits and pieces, I can just throw it into a pan and it will all fry up. After cutting your bacon up, it's time to fry. Now the whole point of frying up all of this bacon is not to have bacon bits. It's to really render out that fat, because that fat is going to help to flavor our sauce, because fat is flavor. When frying bacon like this, make sure to use medium heat and have patience. The fat will render out and the bacon bits will crisp up. After the bacon has been fried up, put it aside into a bowl lined with paper towel to absorb all of that grease. Now, as soon as I started frying this bacon, I had a little beggar show up. Ready, steady, okay. This is Spud, he is my potato. Potato happy he took bacon. Potato satisfied. After giving up an offering to the doggo, take your saucepan with bacon fat and saute your onions. I like using purple onions and yellow onions to give it a little bit more flavor. Make sure to saute your onions at a medium heat and allow it to become a little bit translucent. Once it's reached this level of translucence, add in your garlic. Once you've browned your garlic, it's time to put in the tomato paste. We use tomato paste to give our sauce a nice, rich, and bold flavor. You want to add the tomato paste at this stage so that the acidity mellows out and so that the flavor develops. Once the oils has come out of the tomato paste and you see a red film around your pan, put in your herbs. We're going to be adding in our basil. I'm using dried basil, but if you have fresh basil, that's even better. Now for the dried oregano. Red chili flakes. And of course, Spanish paprika to give it a little kick and a nice color. Now if you can use fresh herbs, it's better to use that. But for me, it's more convenient to use dried herbs, and it's just fine as well. If you're using dried herbs, it's better to use it early on in the recipe to allow the flavor to bloom. Now for our main ingredient, we're going to be using a can of peeled tomatoes. Now I like to use peeled tomatoes instead of crushed tomatoes to make sauces like this. I like to control the chunkiness of my sauce. After pouring out the contents of the can, add some water into that can, shake it around a little bit, and add it into your sauce. It's going to carry the leftovers from the can. At the same time, this will help with the cooking process. This is why I like using whole peeled tomatoes. I have a lot of control on how chunky I want this sauce to be. When you crush your tomatoes, you just use your spatula and just crush it against the walls of your saucepan. Once you've reached the desired texture, allow your sauce to simmer. We're almost done cooking our sauce, so now is the time to season. I'm gonna add some rock salt, brown sugar, and balsamic vinegar. We want to balance some sweetness and some saltiness, and the balsamic vinegar will provide a nice acidic touch. Before deeming your sauce done, give it a quick taste. And I realized that I need to add a little bit more salt. This is why you have to give your sauce a quick taste before completing it. A good sign for good pasta sauce is if you see a film of red oil around your pan. So after your sauce is finished, put it aside to let it cool down. After it's cooled down, we're going to transfer it over to some jars. I'm going to be using 4-ounce jars. I'm transferring my sauce to these jars because they're easier to store in my refrigerator. I can make 2 jars of Weekday Pomodoro sauce with this batch. 1 jar of Pomodoro sauce is good for 2 to 3 people. Alright, so it's a weeknight and I need to make dinner. So I'm going to be making tonight chicken parmigiana, and I'm going to be using this Pomodoro sauce to do it. Chicken parmigiana is basically a chicken cutlet with some Pomodoro sauce smothered over the top, and then with some melted cheese. On the side, I'll be serving a nice pasta using the same thing, Pomodoro sauce. Maybe I'll add some bacon too. This is a real testament to the flexibility of this sauce. I can make an arrabbiata using the shrimp. I can make a lasagna. This can just be the filling. I can make a pizza if I wanted to. Or if I wanted to be really quick, I could have just taken some bread, toasted it, put this over it, add some cold cuts like maybe a nice parma ham or salami, some cheese, melt it. Simple. But I'm going to be making chicken parmigiana tonight, and I'm going to show you how to make it with just this simple sauce. Let's go. I have my stock pot with boiling water, which I've seasoned with salt. I'm going to be cooking our spaghetti noodles for our pasta. I like boiling plenty of water just in case I decide to make more pasta. When cooking our spaghetti noodles, we want it to be right before al dente. For the chicken parmigiana, I don't really have a video of me seasoning or breading the chicken cutlet. I'm reserving that for a future video. For now, I'm using my trusty air fryer to make the chicken parmigiana. I put a generous amount of Pomodoro sauce. A lot of that Pomodoro sauce will seep right through that breading and into the chicken. Of course, cannot forget to put plenty of sliced Parmesan right on top. This will melt and brown and become nice and gooey. We're gonna pop it back into the air fryer for another 5 minutes. Now that our pasta is cooked, I made sure to take some of that pasta water out. We're going to be using this pasta water later on when we make our pasta. It's time to make our pasta. We take half a jar of Pomodoro sauce and place it into a hot pan. Once it starts sizzling up, we add in our noodles. Once your pasta noodles and pasta sauce has been thoroughly combined, slowly add in your pasta water. Now the pasta water helps bind the sauce and the noodles together. This gives you that nice restaurant quality pasta. If you have Parmesan rinds lying around, throw them into your pasta. The little morsels will soften up and melt into the sauce. And of course, I love black olives, so I'm putting in black olives. Lastly, I found some nice dried tomatoes in my pantry. And sun-dried tomatoes are sweet and tart. It will nicely complement our sauce. In our sauce, we use whole peeled tomatoes and tomato paste, as well as sun-dried tomatoes. Even though they're all tomatoes, they were all in different forms. The whole peeled tomatoes provided the body. The tomato paste added the richness and boldness of the sauce. And lastly, the sun-dried tomatoes enhances the flavor, giving it a nice, sweet and tart profile. Once our pasta noodles are thoroughly coated with our lovely sauce, It's time to plate our meal. Using a pair of kitchen tongs, I'm going to gently place our pasta onto a large plate. Look at that pasta. It's piping hot. Don't forget to scoop in the stuff at the bottom of the pan. That's right, I'm talking about the olives and that sun-dried tomato. Now grate in that Parmesan, but don't use too much. You don't want to overpower that lovely pasta. And for a bit of crunch, some bacon bits. Now we're gonna take our chicken Parmigiana and gently place it on our bed of pasta. Look at that chicken Parmigiana. Look how gooey that cheese is. And for a nice pop of green, we'll be using a few leaves of basil. Silence means it's good. Yep. Actually, this is really good. It's good though. Chicken Parmigiana. For this kind of thing, even though you're using a cut like chicken breast, which is known to be pretty dry, not really the most favorite part for most people, especially Asians. But with chicken Parmigiana, you put tomato sauce and you put cheese. It really seeps down. The real star here is the sauce. That Pomodoro sauce, it's not heavy. At the same time, it's got this sweetness. It's got this acidic undertones. It's tangy because of that sun-dried tomatoes we added, and it's just really good. It can be used for a lot of things, but it's definitely the star of this whole dish, not the chicken or anything like that. It's really actually added a lot of flavor into the chicken, but definitely this Pomodoro sauce is really good to make and keep a lot of around. I can come up with so many different things, so many different uses for this. I'd like to thank you for joining us today in making my weekday Pomodoro sauce. If you'd like to see more videos just like this, please hit the subscribe button. But if you really like our videos, please hit the like button. And also, if you have any ideas of what we can do with our Pomodoro sauce, any other kind of uses besides what I said, please comment below. Thank you again, and we'll see you soon.